So, a friend of mine, Matthew Moyer, has recently been on the Universals doing a series examining on what if he was showrunner of Doctor Who. Me knowing about what was all going to happen in the series suggested that I do my own as well. So I planned out my series, general concepts and ideas and such. However, we noticed a problem that certain actors and storylines and even episodes did cross over. So I asked him afterwards if I could upload this as a Tooniversals video, and here we are. I will be doing a Tooniversals series of examining what if I was showrunner. So, let's jump into the video. Now, let's establish a few things before we go into the episode. Now, what would I want as the Doctor? I would want someone that could juggle 12's seriousness, 10's excitement, 3's badassery, 7's ability to manipulate people, and is also a woman. After literally 5 seconds of thinking, I landed on Camilla Luddington for the role, as I think she could play those personalities. Watch Grey's Anatomy for proof. Outfit would be something simple, but would still have the Doctor bit of it. Her outfit would be a white button-up dress shirt with black pants, black loafers, and to top this very simple outfit, a long, big orange trench coat. I'd have 2 companions in the first season, who would be a young couple from modern-day Earth. Note, while I do feel New Who is oversaturated of modern-day companions, I do want the audience to connect with these companions as they'd see themselves in them. When I eventually introduce companions from either the past or the future, they still be able to connect with them. But I think it'd be easier to connect to people from modern-day Earth, so I'm starting with them. So these 2 new companions would be a young couple, with the male member of this couple, Luke, played by Colin Morgan, and the female part of this couple, Dakota, played by Charlotte Ritchie. They would be a similar couple to Amy and Rory, but their relationship is far perfect. Now for the miscellaneous information. The TARDIS exterior, I just used the one from the 2018 prop, and the interior would be a combination of the Joe Martin interior and the TV movie console room. On a screwdriver, yeah, I'm going to use it, but I would yell at the writers if it's overused. And its design would be a hybrid of 12's second design and 11's design. The top half would be 12's, with it being the extent, however, be able to be extend this part for the lights, and would switch between the unused red setting and the blue light chasing setting. And the bottom half would be borrowed from 11's design, but it'd be all blue and such. Here's where you may hate me for this. If I was forced to not go with my idea that I personally want, it'd be a version of the Whittaker title sequence, but with more space and maybe even a bit of a time vortex. But if I was allowed my idea, it'd be shots of the series with the actors' names and lead production crew on it, while also retaining the space or time vortex look for the logo and title card. Theme tune, all I have to say is, give me orchestra synths or give me death. Also, one more thing, if I was allowed for this to happen. I moved production of the show from Wales to Scotland. Why? They used up all the Wales locations way too much. And we need new locations. And well, I do not want the show to go back to England, as England would still be used, but I'd want it to be used as a secondary filming location. So that leaves me with Scotland and Northern Ireland. And while I wouldn't mind Northern Ireland, BBC Scotland have produced many more shows than BBC Northern Ireland, and the ones they produce for BBC Northern Ireland are mainly just children's shows and news broadcasts. Now, for the format of my first series, I can confirm it, I'll just say it right here, it will be 10 16-minute episodes with an extra 75-minute episode for the Christmas special. So, let's take a dive into my first series. So this episode would take place in modern-day Earth, be a post-regeneration story, contain an introduction episode, as well as a unit episode, and feature the return of the Sea Devils. Also to note, unless if it is one of the big 3 or they appeared in my 10-year showrunner before, all monsters will be written as a brand new monster, so the Sea Devils will be written like that in this story. Now, what would the Sea Devils be doing? By invading the Earth via Brighton, as there's too much plastic in the ocean for them to live there safely. Also, Unit is there, and they'd be a recurring element in my era, as well as leader, Dr. Isabel Young, played by Sandra Oh. Also, Luke and Dakota are introduced in this episode, and the audience are shown bits of their relationship, and it'd be a character arc throughout the series on why their relationship is far from great. So, this idea came to me one day while I was watching one of my favorite TV shows, Outlander, and I was amazed on how one-sided the Battle of Culloden was with the Jacobites and the British. So I decided to make this a pure historical, with the Doctor being separated from Luke and Dakota early on, with the Doctor being with the Jacobites, and Luke and Dakota being with the British. And it shows the savagery with the British used on the Jacobites during this battle. During this battle, the Doctor would be a healer for the Jacobites, and the Dakota would be one for the British, while Luke would be a soldier for the British, and this episode would play out as sort of an old-fashioned war. So, this would be a two-parter, and be a sequel to one of my favorite Doctor Who episodes, Under the Lake / Before the Flood, and explain one of those problems with that serial's ending. So it would feature the return of the Fisher King race, and of the planet Tivoli, and it helps explain the ending of that, where the Doctor had encountered the race before the events of Under the Lake / Before the Flood, and the race is from a completely barren planet, and he was only called the Fisher King as he looked like one. Apart from that, this episode would show the brutality of the race and would develop them more, showing that they're mainly all warmongering torturers. So this would feature the return of a previous Doctor Who villain, but not one from Who, but from one of its spin-offs. And I think it should be one that the Doctor hasn't faced yet. So, why not the Nightmare Man? I mean, we got something like that in Can You Hear Me? But this time, instead of it being a message on mental health, it'd be used to help calm people about the future, as the world is kind of shit at the moment. Also, this would go back to the standard Modern Day Earth episode, following the format introducing New Who of the Modern Day episode, then past, then future. It would follow that scenario. So Doctor Who can do love letters to certain dramas, or shows, or books, or etc, etc. Now, what would I do a love letter? Eurovision? I mean, come on, if you know me, then you expect me to either make a Eurovision, or a love letter to either Eurovision or NCIS. And I decided on Eurovision. So, what would it be about? The Doctor would take Luke and Dakota to the Earthivision Song Contest in the year 2957, where they would run into a new Monster of the Week type monster called the Gyrons, who are participating in the contest and looking to rig it in their favor. This is supposed to be a stupid plot, as I need a light episode knowing what episode 5 and episode 7 is about. Also, I know that in real life there was a parody of Eurovision with Bang Bang Boom, but that was also a parody of Star Trek and was written by a heavily controversial writer, in which Earthivision will have neither of those. Hey Widow fans, seem familiar? So another pure historical, and would focus on the World War II event of the D-Day landings, and be one of those psychological horror episodes where the Doctor, Luke, and Dakota are viciously tortured by the Nazis on the day of the invasion. The first half of the episode would mainly focus on the Nazi threat and their torture methods. However, halfway through the episode, the Doctor and Dakota are able to escape, and they get to the TARDIS and attempt to get Luke, but land on one of the Allied ships, and they are now on the Allied side as they are about to invade the beach. And the second half of the episode focuses on the Allied invasion. In the end, the Doctor and Dakota quickly recover Luke after the invasion, and the three of them depart before anyone starts asking them any questions. So this would be a Doctor Light episode and focus solely on Luke and Dakota, and also be an alien planet episode on top of that. So the Doctor and Poe would land on a barren and desolate planet where the Luke and Dakota exit the TARDIS, and while the Doctor's trying to get something from her TARDIS, the TARDIS dematerializes without Luke and Dakota, leaving them stranded. Over the episode, we see Dakota and Luke attempting to survive on the planet during this time, and we develop their characters to show more to the relationship, and show on how bad the relationship is before they met the Doctor. In the first series finale, we go back to modern-day England as Dr. Young and Unit want the Doctor to investigate the leader of the Labour Party, as he has been saying weird stuff that does not match with his personality and ideals that he had in the past 5 years in Parliament. The Doctor investigates and finds out his true identity, and to her horror, he is in fact a new incarnation of the Monster by William Boyd of EastEnders fame. Now, why have I chosen him as the Monster? Simple. I want the Monster to go back to how he was like in the Third Doctor's era, and I feel like that Boyd was the best choice for it. So the Monster's plan is to destroy Earth for the lulz, as he wants to hurt the Doctor. He does this by killing the leader of the Labour Party, and taking his place and rig the election he is to fight, and take over the planet's nuclear weapons, and then launch all of its missiles at its weak points on the planet, and departing his TARDIS just before the nukes go off. However, the Doctor takes the monster on in a battle of wits and is able to turn the country against him, and literally no one has voted for him. And when he wins a 100+ majority seat in the House of Commons, it clearly shows that he rigged the election. The monster is eventually arrested, but we see him escape and run off into his TARDIS. He wants to get revenge on the Doctor. And the Doctor and Co. say goodbye to Dr. Young and Unit, and they depart. When in the time vortex, they get an alert, saying that there is Dalek activity in the 1910s. Which leads us to... So one thing that has puzzled me completely is that a Dalek episode is not a Christmas episode. The Cybermen got their own dedicated Christmas special. Now, while they had Resolution, that wasn't a Christmas special, it was a New Year's special. And the only one that had a real presence in was Time of the Doctor. But they were still barely in it, and the special had several returning villains. So, this special will focus on the Daleks. Now, I have an idea for a Dalek redesign. Now, this may not go down well, but here's just a generic concept idea I have for it. 2 words. Purple Daleks. Now, what are the Daleks doing in the 1910s? Well, they are there as a human spy has broken through their ranks and is a high 1910s Earth in England. So the Daleks invade 1910s England. The majority of this episode would take place on Earth, but the last 10 to 15 minutes on it would be on the Dalek spaceship, with the Doctor and Co. trying to blow it up. So that is my first series as showrunner of Doctor Who. Like and comment, subscribe for Universals for me continuing this series. I will just say it right here, right now. I have a 5 series planned for this, so this is series 1 of 5. Yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and stay tuned for more to come.